There we go. All right, here we are. Um, Welcome. What is today? Wednesday.
Today is
um,
Wednesday at 3:09. We're only 9 minutes late. All good. It's been a busy day. Excited about Thomas Massey. Did you see what happened today?
I haven't seen anything, huh?
The Epstein Files petition gets last signature needed to force the House vote.
No
So
way.
there's going to be a vote on releasing the Epstein Files. I don't know if it's going to pass, but at least he got enough, votes or signatures, I guess, to push the vote. So,
Wow, that's interesting.
yeah.
That's I don't I honestly I don't see anything ever coming of it, but we can hope.
Yeah, high-powered people that are evil
Yeah.
are trying
Yeah.
to suppress that. So,
Yeah.
which is
That'll be
crazy. We the people, one of our main tenets in our platform is transparency, government transparency. If there's an elected official that's, traveling to pedophile island, we should be able to know about that, right?
yeah. Yeah. I thought that it was, when all of this started going down, and I didn't even see what did they release on the Trump stuff. Like I saw emails with Epstein and Trump. Like, is that just a nothing burger? Like, I
You know,
feel
I
like it's
don't I don't really know. I
okay.
don't
I
know
hadn't
about
looked
that.
at it yet.
You know more than me.
Okay. Yeah. I
Um,
hadn't looked at that at all yet today.
yeah. I'm going to go ahead and switch topics here really quick. Larry Sharp is running for governor in New York, and he's running under the We the People Party banner and the Libertarian banner this time. So I don't know if you're familiar with how New York works, but you can actually run and have multiple spots on the ballot. And if anyone votes for Larry in the We the People spot or the Libertarian spot, they both count as a vote for him.
Right.
So this weekend, he is doing his eighth full sharp, or is finishing up the number 8, which is he is visiting every county in New York State. And he's
Nice.
been going out every weekend and doing this. And this is the 8th time that he's done this, visited every county in New York State.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
which is
love listening to him.
crazy.
He's amazing to listen to. He's got the most incredible ideas.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm hoping, with our campaigns that we're going to be running here in Washington State, we're going to be able to do something similar. That's actually the inspiration for these live streams, right? Because Larry Sharp, he's doing live streams every single day, talking about the issues that matter to people in New York, and we're looking to do the same thing. So if you're watching this right now and you have an issue that you care about and you'd like to join us, we'd be happy to have you on one of the live streams as well, talking about the things that matter to you. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So
you
sorry.
got your grandkid there.
I got
He
my
just couldn't help it.
grandkids. I
Yeah,
I
he just
didn't
couldn't help it.
he was going crazy if I tried to kick him out. So grandma, bleeding heart. I couldn't do it. So you'll have to excuse me.
So, what is he going to do to save Olympia?
I
Right?
right? That's what we've been talking about. You're gonna save Olympia, right? You're gonna grow up and be the governor and just fix everything, right? I like it. He'll
Awesome.
have a great platform by then. He's
That's
got a
great.
few years to work on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
you also wanted to talk about a mayoral campaign?
Yeah, I just think it's interesting what's happened up in Seattle. I
Oh, and
mean,
yep.
and for me, more than whether anybody's for or against, against her, it is so much proof that people want something different.
Yeah.
People, she did, whether you agree with her or not, she ran on hope,
Hmm.
right? And she ran on positivity. And I think that that is what really got her the votes, and I don't personally really agree with, you know, what her, you know, her platform, but you know, I think that that says a lot for what people are looking for. And I think that that gives us a lot of hope, because with We the People, you know, we want to be positive. We don't want this bickering back and forth, you know, and finding things to not like about each other. I would rather find things to like.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I
So,
think, especially with these establishment candidates like Bruce Harrell that have been there for years, and the city has seen massive decline under his guidance. You know, crime is increased, the business environment
not now.
has dropped.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, all good, all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people, you know, people want something different. Now, granted, she didn't win by a whole lot, so it
Right.
wasn't like a super majority vote to see him get ousted. But here locally, we had multiple races where the incumbent got 25% of the vote, and the challenger was like 75% of the vote. Where people here locally, they were tired of the status quo. Now, unfortunately, when you read the statements of the new candidates coming in versus the old candidates, there's not much difference. It's just that it's a new person with probably different connections, and they're going to do their own cronyist thing, unfortunately, because none of these people are part of our organization. There's no pledge for transparency. There's no anti-corruption pledge. There's none of that for their campaigns. And it's
Right.
kind of, you know, it's disheartening because we've seen it before here locally where the incumbent gets ousted by this, you know, this new person who's going to bring all this change, and then nothing happens. Nothing
Right.
good happens from it. It actually gets worse, and they just plug into the system, and it, you know, they're not increasing transparency, they're not fighting corruption, they're not doing
No
anything.
accountability.
They're just rubber stamping the same old same old. So, and that's where we're different, because, you know, we have a platform that believes in the things that most people believe in. So
Right.
we just need more candidates to run, and not necessarily to win, but to make an impact. And what that means is to spread these ideas out there. Because if you're running for office talking about transparency and anti-corruption and all this stuff, your opponent has to pay attention. Your neighbors are paying attention. They're going to be like, well, why isn't this other candidate saying anything about anti-corruption or transparency or health freedom or whatever the important topic is, right?
Right.
So that's where we come in as We the People.
Right. We can force them to have to pay attention, just like Kennedy did. You
Yep.
know, nothing that is happening right now, especially, you know, with our health, would be happening if it wasn't for what Kennedy did, and
Yeah.
wasn't for him putting himself out there and getting involved and wanting to make a difference.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You know, I don't know. Like we talked about yesterday, I'm not a fan of Trump. I don't know if Harris would have been any better. She probably would have been worse in different issues, and Trump is worse in other issues with the crazy ICE stuff going on and just rounding people up, you know, without due process. There's a lot of bad things that Trump is doing, but one of the shining lights of his campaign is putting RFK in the position in the FDA. Like we manufacture health supplements for people and pets and dogs with cancer, and I'm not worried about the FDA coming after me because
right.
RFK is in there, because he's open to alternatives. And like, yeah, maybe chemotherapy and radiation isn't the end all be all for people with cancer. There's all these other naturopathic treatments that can work and have been working, right? And they're,
Right.
you know, the FDA is not targeting companies that are providing natural solutions. Whereas underneath Harris, where that was going underneath Biden, and the FDA, you know, was way more open to stamping down on alternative medicines, and they were actually, you know, fighting alternative medicines and natural health supplements, whereas right now it's not happening anymore. So
Right. Right.
it really is a shitty give and take
Yeah.
with with the Republicans and Democrats. And I'm hoping that we can have some serious candidates, coming up very soon. So where it's not going to be like that.
Yeah, I agree, especially with that West Coast Health Alliance,
Oh yeah, that's
because
bad.
they're the only reason that they're even doing that is literally just to go against anything and everything that Kennedy is doing. So,
Yep.
even if the
Well,
enough.
so the tyranny that is built in place in that West Coast Health Alliance, in the bill that was passed in Washington State, at least, whereas, the counties and the cities cannot override vaccine mandates. Like, what? What do you mean?
Mhm.
You're saying that they're saying that the top-down federal government approach is bad, right?
Right.
So they want a top-down state government approach,
Right.
but the
Right.
counties and the cities that don't want it cannot opt out. That's crazy. That
Yeah.
is just, there's no logic to any of this stuff.
Yeah.
They don't want the federal government, but they are now the arbiters of truth, and whatever they say, everyone in Washington State and Oregon and California and Hawaii, and then Nevada apparently is coming on board this West Coast Health Alliance. Like,
Yeah.
so these people are now the new tyrants. They say don't listen to the fascist tyrants in the federal government. We're now the tyrants here at the state government. Listen to us, and what we say goes.
Yeah, isn't it interesting that people don't see, the parallels,
Yeah,
like they're going to these No Kings rallies against Trump, and no, he's wanting to be a dictator while we have all of the governors getting together without Congress, without doing anything, you
yeah.
know, I mean, is it even legal? Like the West Coast Health Alliance, like how can they even do that
Well,
legally? It's insane.
yeah, so the law behind it and the vote behind it is that the Democrats have super majorities here in Washington, in Oregon, in California, in Hawaii. So yeah, they did pass a bill that's technically makes it legal, right?
Mm,
Because they have the super majorities. So unfortunately, this is where we live. We
right.
live in ultra blue Washington state. And we
I want
just
to make it ultra purple.
yes,
Ultra
yes.
purple Washington State. That's where I have the most hope, because I really believe that everybody is so much more in the center once you start talking and once you start getting to know what people actually think, and not these micro, these microcosms of an idea,
Yep.
and because when you hear somebody talk about just a snippet of what they think, it's not simple. Like none of these topics are simple in any way. And
Mhm.
so we have to actually have conversations and not, sound bites, right? Like it needs to be real conversation with people and understanding why they think the way that they do so that we can figure out where we agree
Correct.
and really combat this stuff, because nobody, everybody wants the freedom to choose what is good for them.
Mhm.
There's no reason why somebody should be telling me what's good for me when I know myself and I know my body and I know what I need. Why nobody should be telling me what I should have to do or not do.
Yeah, and the thing with the West Coast Health Alliance is they think that their one size fits all solution with the allopathic medical system is what they need to force onto everyone. Well, I could tell you right now, like we were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
If you got insurance for your family, it'd be $2,000 for three
Hmm.
people. You know, same thing here. We've got four people in our family. And we go to an integrative medical practitioner. She's a naturopathic doctor that can also write prescriptions for real medicine down in Oregon. And it's like $175 a visit. And that's it. And then the prescription that our youngest daughter needs is like $75. And it's
Right.
done. And I haven't went and seen her. Like we don't need to pay $2,000 a month for medical. Because if any catastrophic, like if we got diagnosed with cancer, the last thing we would do is chemotherapy and radiation. That's
R-
covered. The only
Yeah.
things that are
Same.
covered in the allopathic insurance network is stuff that we wouldn't do, we wouldn't
Right.
use.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly why we decided, because you know, the doctor, they want you to go do all these screenings and stuff, and I finally shut her down because I was like, I wouldn't do your treatment if you found anything anyway. So what is
Yeah.
the point in doing these treatments that can cause more damage? Are not treatments, but these ways that they want to find cancer,
Yeah.
like they cause more damage in the end than they actually find cancer. And
Yeah.
so why would I go through that to begin with? And then I'm not doing what you want me to do anyway. So there's
Yeah. So
just no point.
we have people going through cancer right now that are using that system just for diagnostics, right? So they're doing the MRIs and the CAT scans, and then a gentleman I just talked to today, he had a CAT scan and a test for his PSA. He's got prostate cancer, right? And he will not do their treatment, but he's using them to do the diagnostics, right? So he's doing an all natural route. And the last scan showed that his cancer has not grown, right? That he was given 6 months to live, saying it was a fast growing cancer. His cancer hasn't grown from where it's at, and his PSA is down. That tests
That's
for
amazing.
prostate cancer. Yeah, and he's not doing anything that they're suggesting, but he keeps using their testing,
Right,
right,
right.
to see where he's at. And he can't tell them that he's using holistic methods. He's just going in there and he's a fisherman and he says, well, it's fishing season. I can't do chemo and radiation until the season's over in the spring,
Oh,
right?
so
So
he's
he's
not
just
even
like,
telling them what he's doing.
no, he's not even telling them because he already knows that what's going to happen is that they're going to, maybe cut him off because
Right.
they've got to
Yeah.
get approval for all the testing through his insurance. And it's been a struggle already to get the approval for the latest CAT scan. That's what he was telling me. Like the doctor had to go back and forth with the insurance company over and over.
Because he's not doing any of the treatments. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all, like the blood work. Blood work's expensive when you get some of that done. But then at the same time, the blood work I want done usually isn't covered. I want to know what my vitamin levels are.
Yeah.
you know, and insurance generally doesn't cover that anyway. So,
No.
what's the point?
Yeah, you could do nutrition tests nowadays. It's only a couple $100, to look at deficiencies in minerals and vitamins and all kinds of stuff. And
Yeah.
you can order these things on your own now, and you don't need insurance to approve it because the free market has allowed these alternatives. And then, I know another guy's got prostate cancer, and he's actually going down to Mexico. And he's not even
Nice.
using his insurance. Right.
Right.
He's a veteran, but he also works for an oil company in Alaska, and he's going down to Mexico and doing alternative treatment, paying out of pocket, and it's even cheaper than what he would do if he was trying to do chemo and radiation.
Well, what's funny with Mexico is like people think that it's such a terrible place to go, but I'm really bad with timing, but I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago. Now, I actually went to Mexico and had weight loss surgery.
Okay.
So I was actually about 400 pounds,
Oh, wow.
and so I've lost about 170 pounds now. But I tried to go through my insurance and I went to the nutritionist,
Mhm.
and it was during COVID time, and they make you go through all these hoops, right? So they tested me and tested me and tested me, trying to figure out if I had diabetes or any, like, I don't. I'm incredibly healthy. I was, just my knees were bad. I couldn't move, and so
Yep.
I couldn't lose weight. And anyway, the nutritionist, when I was talking to her, she didn't even understand the food that I was eating, because I mentioned to her that I eat, sausage for breakfast. Well, I buy these organic beef, kibasas, and I chop them up and I would use them with egg and spinach
Yep.
and stuff. And that's what I would eat for breakfast. And I showed her the package because we'd be on Zoom. I don't understand why there's so little saturated fat. And I don't understand. And so I'm showing her my packages and the food that I eat, and she didn't understand the food that I was eating. I'm like, well, you're clearly not going to be any help to me
Well,
at
yeah, when
all
they
when I know more than you about the food that I'm eating. So what on earth is the point? So I went down to Mexico for a fraction of the cost, where that's all that they do, right? So there's nothing wrong with going down there to get some of these treatments. They do
yeah.
everything down there, and it's so much cheaper. So much cheaper.
Yeah, and the nutritionists that I've talked to, because we do a lot of stuff with cancer, and I tried to find some holistic nutritionists that could help advise on cancer diets, and a lot of them, they don't understand that you have to cut out sugar and you have to cut out carbs if you have cancer, because the carbs transfer and become sugars, right? So rice, grains, all these things, and that food pyramid from the government, the typical food pyramid, it's got all the grains. Like, that's, you need to eat mostly grains. And they
Yeah.
talk about, you know the different ratings for food, and when they say, oh, like Cheerios is better than eating an egg, and it's like, come on.
I know, it stresses me out. It
Yeah,
stresses
so
me
it's
out
like,
so bad.
and we were doing interviews with nutritionists to kind of get what, like, asking them questions like, okay, pretend I have cancer, what would you tell me I should eat? And when they didn't say, like, oh, you need to cut out carbs or any, you need to cut out sugars, oh, just moderate it, just moderate the sugar. It's like, no, 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 no. If you have cancer, you got to cut it out, because the sugar is going to feed it. Like, and if they're unwilling to tell the hard truth to someone who's going through cancer and wanting to live, then they're not good enough to be a part of our organization.
Well, it's not, my mom had cancer and she went through all the treatments, and I was horrified in the hospital at the food that they were feeding her. I would go to the store and I would buy her food to eat because I couldn't handle it. And then her friends would come up with bags of candy to make her feel better. And I'm just like,
Oh
you
no.
guys, you're
Yeah.
missing it. Like, you cannot have that. So she tried to set up, she ended up passing, but she tried to set up this food thing, the food train, where people, I was like, nope. I was like, I will be cooking for you. None of your friends are cooking for you because they just want to bring you bags of candy.
Yeah, and they mean well. It's just
Yeah,
people don't understand. They
right.
just don't understand what it's going to take to overcome cancer. Yeah, they'll bring you a pot of spaghetti or a pan of lasagna or a hamburger helper with the noodles in there, and then not understand, like, yeah, you can't be eating that if you have cancer. Sorry. You can't be eating
Right.
these starches and the grains like that.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, sorry, I could go on about that forever. That's one thing
absolutely.
that really, really bothers me about our whole system. And
So,
it's not set up to be healthy.
I got to get going here very soon, but there's
Yeah.
something that I really want to bring up. Everyone that's watching this, we're running Facebook ads right now in the page. Tony, can you talk about how much progress we've made in the past few months on Facebook?
On our Facebook. So
Yeah.
we know that there are people out there that definitely want what we're offering. We grew within 1 week by 350 people.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely phenomenal growth. That means that people are very interested in what we're doing and people want something new. We stand for health freedom and you getting the options, and the choices of your own body. We believe in transparency. And I think that that's a big one. We want our government to be open and telling us what is happening, and we want to bring transparency to everything.
Yeah.
Anti-corruption. There's no reason why we want, all of this corruption that's happening and the backroom deals and just all of the ridiculousness. So the growth has been incredible. And, I had double the people at this second meeting that we had when I went out yesterday
The
in
kill we'll
Quilcene.
see. Yep.
We had double the people show up that we did in Bremerton.
Yeah.
And, if we just keep doubling that number every time, it's incredible. It's amazing. And I love the people that are contacting us to want to be involved.
Yeah. So the most interesting part about it is we're only spending about $5 a day on Facebook ads, and we're having that growth. So if you're watching this right now, Tony and I, for the most part, have been funding it. I know your husband Glenn threw in $100. Michael, what's his last name? Menike?
Menike in
Yeah.
Wenatchee.
He threw in $50. you know, if you can afford to donate, you know, 10, 20, $50, please do, because we are using it to grow the message. We're using it to build the organization. This is not going towards salaries. It's not going towards ridiculous things. You know, it is going to promotion and getting people to pay attention to what we're doing and building the organization out. And we will become a major party whether it's in 2028 or 2032, right? We're going to push and push and push. So your investment in what we're doing is going to pay dividends, because that $5 that you throw in will pay for a whole day's worth of ads that are running. So we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean that's like 25 people a day. I mean that's
Yeah.
not nothing. It's incredible growth. And even $5, if you know, if people did even just signed up to do $5 a month, right?
Yep.
That pays for a day of ads a month.
Yeah.
And that alone is so helpful. So yeah. So anyway, I guess that's about it. For
Awesome. Well,
today.
thanks so much, Tony. Yeah, we're going to be back tomorrow. If anyone wants us to talk about specific topics, please message the page. Message the We the People Washington page, and we'll add it to the topic list and we'll talk about it. And if you've got something that you want to talk about and you want to come on this live stream, we'd be happy to have you on. We just had Kim on yesterday, or no, 2 days ago, sorry,
2 days ago,
to
yeah.
talking about the West Coast Health Alliance. So like I said, if you're interested in coming on, just message the page and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. I hope everybody has a great day. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.